You're not afraid of being single. You're afraid of being unwanted. There's a specific kind of heartbreak that only a man knows. It's the heartbreak of discovering you feel invisible. You're afraid of putting yourself out there and feeling like nothing changes. You're afraid that what you offer isn't good enough. You're afraid that the years have stolen something that you can't get back. It's one of the deepest masculine wounds, the wound of being undesirable. But there's a twist most men never say out loud. You're not waiting for a woman to desire you. You're waiting to believe that you're someone that's desirable. That's the rejection ditch. And if you stay in it long enough, rejection stops being an experience and becomes an identity. You were never designed to interpret your worth through the response of others. But when rejection accumulates, when women overlook you, ignore you, or pass you by, your mind begins to rewire itself, and a lie forms. If she doesn't want me, something must be wrong with me. This is not an emotional issue. This is a masculine identity crisis. There's a statement men hear when rejection hits too many times. A statement that sounds like your voice, but is not your voice. If you don't confront it now, it becomes the quiet narrator of every future relationship. Men are not destroyed by rejection. They're destroyed by the meaning they attach to it. Quick pause. If this is resonating with you, here's why. Men don't randomly get stuck in stages. The eligibility gap is predictable and diagnosable. This series exposes the 4 ditches that keep kingdom men single, and this is your literal pattern interrupt. The free 9-question Kick-Ask eligibility assessment was designed specifically for 35 and over Christian men desiring marriage and children, because this life stage carries a unique pressure, urgency, and calling. We built this tool in response to the exact patterns men of God have shared in the KSB challenges and member collectives. This 9-question assessment is your bridge to measure your confidence level, leadership posture, and biblical readiness with accuracy. Not guesses, not vibes. Precision. Why does this matter? Because your future wife deserves a man who's ready, and this assessment shows you where you actually stand. Don't lose the momentum you're feeling right now. Click the link to see your score and bridge your eligibility gap today. Because many are eligible, but few are marriageable. Now let's continue. Men are not destroyed by rejection. They're destroyed by the meaning they attach to it. The science of rejection. Rejection doesn't say she didn't choose you. Rejection says you're not desirable. You don't matter. You're not what women want anymore. You're behind. You're losing. You've missed your window. You're not enough. These are not the thoughts of a man who was rejected. These are the thoughts of a man who has internalized rejection. And when rejection becomes identity, your confidence fractures even if you don't show it. You wonder why you feel invisible in rooms you once walked into with confidence. You feel the pressure to prove you're still desirable. You feel embarrassed that you care this much. You feel frustrated that attraction isn't mutual with the women you want. You feel confused by mixed signals from godly women. You feel discouraged trying to initiate with no momentum. You start doubting your own masculine presence. What hurts isn't rejection itself, it's the implication. There's a science behind masculine rejection. Studies on male emotional processing show men experience romantic rejection as a threat to identity, not just emotion. Male self-worth is neurologically linked to effectiveness and outcome. Women process rejection relationally. Men process it existentially. Men take longer to recover from emotional rejection than women. The male brain interprets romantic rejection as a hit to competence, the core of masculine identity. This is why rejection wounds men more deeply than women will ever understand. In 1 Samuel 16, David was rejected by his own father, overlooked by his own family, dismissed as irrelevant. He wasn't rejected because he was unqualified. He was rejected because people couldn't see his calling. Rejection reveals nothing about your worth. It only reveals the limits of someone else's discernment. Maybe this is your story, the story of a kingdom man who was overlooked repeatedly in church, in dating, even in friendships, and how you slowly began to equate rejection with personal deficiency. Men are not destroyed by rejection. They're destroyed by the meaning they attach to it. The rejection ditch doesn't start with being unwanted. It starts with feeling unseen. And once a man starts feeling invisible, he stops initiating. He believes that staying hidden is safer than being disappointed again. Emotional invisibility. Every man in the rejection ditch begins to develop what we call the emotional invisibility pattern, a set of behaviors designed to avoid pain, but unintentionally creates more of it. Before, you used to walk into a room believing you had something to offer. You used to engage people with ease. You used to assume women could see your value. You used to pursue with confidence. Now you walk into rooms assuming you won't be noticed. You keep conversations safe and shallow. You avoid expressing interest because you fear appearing foolish. You stay on the sidelines because the sidelines feel safer than being dismissed. You interpret women's neutrality as disinterest. You interpret mixed signals as proof you shouldn't try. The bridge between confidence and invisibility is subtle. It's the moment you stop seeing yourself as desirable. You didn't lose value, you lost vision. And when a man can't see his own strength, he assumes others can't see it either. Research gives us insight into the psychology of invisibility. Men who experience chronic rejection begin to self-silence. They reduce eye contact. They take fewer social risks. They initiate 50% less often. Their brain shifts into avoidant posture, protecting identity rather than pursuing opportunity. This is not emotional weakness. This is emotional survival mode. In Judges 6, Gideon hid because he believed he had nothing to offer. He wasn't invisible. He felt invisible. But heaven called him a mighty man of valor while he was hiding in fear. You're not what rejection tells you that you are. You're what God says you are. Maybe this is your story, the story of a kingdom man who seems confident externally, but is battling internal invisibility, hesitating, withdrawing, misreading women, and assuming disinterest everywhere you go. Rejection doesn't just make a man feel unwanted, it rewires the way that he interprets every interaction. If you don't interrupt this pattern, rejection becomes your lens instead of your experience. Wounds of rejection. Rejection wounds a man in places no one sees, places deeper than pride, deeper than confidence, deeper than desire. Women feel rejection emotionally. Men feel rejection existentially. Emotional pain hurts for the moment. Existential pain makes a man question who he is, where he's going, and whether he still has what it takes. When a man is rejected, he doesn't ask, "Didn't she like me? I thought she liked me." He asks, "Am I desirable? Do my efforts even matter? Do I have what other men have? Is there something wrong with me? Why am I invisible to the women I want?" These aren't questions of insecurity. They're the cries of masculine identity being tested. Because for a man, rejection doesn't just say no. It says you don't have what it takes. We've identified 4 wounds related to masculine rejection. The first, the competence wound. Rejection hits the core of masculine effectiveness. It tells a man, you're not impactful. You don't land. The second, the visibility wound. Rejection makes a man believe he is unseen, even when he's standing in plain sight. Third, the worthiness wound. Rejection convinces a man that the qualities women admire exist in other men, just not in him. The fourth, the future wound. Rejection makes a man question if godly fatherhood, covenant marriage, and legacy still belong to him. These wounds accumulate over months, over years without language, until a man no longer struggles with rejection, he struggles with his identity. Rejection is emotionally quiet in men. It hides well under confidence, humor, or stoicism. While you think your resilience or humor benefits you, unprocessed rejection can poison and dilute future initiation, confidence, and masculine presence. You want connection, clarity, interest, and respect. You say the risk is worth taking, but repeat rejection can cost your confidence, forward movement, masculine posture, and godly pursuit. Until one day you realize that rejection is easier to avoid than confront. Rejection makes a man hear no, even when no one is actually saying it. Psychology confirms what scripture has revealed for centuries. Men have a stronger dopamine activation around pursuit and reward. Rejection disrupts this cycle harder in men than women. Men recover from romantic rejection much slower than women. Rejection decreases testosterone and increases cortisol, shrinking initiative and increasing withdrawal. Studies show men develop social anxiety symptoms after chronic rejection. Male nervous systems crash faster after romantic discouragement than female nervous systems. In simple terms, rejection hits the masculine system at the exact point where masculinity is built in his identity, competence, and pursuit. Rejection is revealing. Each of these biblical men were revealed following rejection. Joseph, rejected by his brothers, falsely accused, forgotten in prison, not because he lacked value, but because he carried destiny others could not recognize. David, rejected by his father, dismissed by Saul, chased from the palace he was anointed to lead. Yet God called him a man after his own heart. Peter rejected Jesus in fear, yet Jesus restored him in love, because God restores men where shame tries to redefine them. Jesus, he came to his own, and his own received him not. Rejection did not diminish his identity, it revealed it. Rejection is not a verdict. Rejection is a revelation of your calling. Maybe this is your story. The story of the kingdom man who has internalized rejection, misreading women, and often interprets possibilities through the lens of, she probably doesn't want me either. Until you took that thought captive and in a chokehold, recognizing the lies rejection spoke and had influenced your worth far more than the truth had. There's a moment, if you stay in the rejection ditch long enough, where you stop fearing rejection and you start expecting it. That shift is a dangerous part of this ditch because expectation becomes identity and identity becomes behavior. Rejection, expectation, loop. The greatest danger of the rejection ditch is not the rejection itself, it's the lens it creates. When rejection becomes a lens, you interpret friendliness as pity, interest as coincidence, neutrality as disinterest, encouragement as politeness, women's boundaries as proof you were foolish to try, women's preferences as confirmation you're lacking, closed doors as confirmation of inadequacy. This is not reality speaking. This is injury speaking. Before, you approached connection with confidence and clarity. Now you approach connection with suspicion and self-doubt. The bridge is the moment you begin expecting rejection as the norm. Let's examine the rejection expectation loop. Psychology calls this the rejection sensitivity cycle. You expect rejection. You interpret ambiguity as rejection. You withdraw. You pursue less. You receive fewer positive signals, which reinforces the expectation and deepens withdrawal. This is how masculine hope fades not by one big event, but by small rewrites of self-perception. When rejection becomes your emotional narrator, it informs every future relationship if left unchallenged. The rejection expectation loop overwrites your story, and your pursuit lens is shaped by past rejection and how you've interpreted life through pain instead of truth. In reality, you're not unwanted, you're unhealed. Those are not the same thing. God offers restoration, not to your ego, but to your vision. Your response is to deploy freedom Jesus paid at Calvary and permanently interrupt the rejection expectation loop because he sets your captive heart free. There's a point where rejection stops being a wound and becomes an identity. And the only way out of the rejection ditch is to confront the lie rejection taught you about your worth. God heals rejection. Rejection does not define a man, it distorts him. God restores vision first, confidence second, and calling third. You can't heal rejection with affirmation. You heal rejection with identity. God restores men through a 3-step process. Reveal. You cannot heal what rejection has hidden. Reframe. God does not speak to you based on your wounds. He speaks to you based on your assignment. Reconnect. Hope returns through motion. Phase 1, reveal. You cannot heal what rejection has hidden. Rejection taught you a lie. You have to name it. You have to confront it. You have to stop rehearsing it. Here are the 4 lies men commonly absorb. Lie 1, I'm unwanted. Lie 2, other men have what I lack. Lie 3, it's too late for me. Lie 4, what I offer isn't enough. These lies feel like logic. They feel like maturity. They feel like realism. But lies that feel logical are the most dangerous kind. God can't heal the false identity you're still protecting. Reveal the lie, call it what it is, expose the narrative and expectation loop. Stop living like the lie is true. Phase 2, reframe. God does not speak to you based on your wounds. He speaks to you based on your assignment. He didn't call Gideon fearful. He called him mighty man of valor. He didn't call Peter denier. He called him rock. He didn't call David overlooked. He called him king. He doesn't call you unwanted. He calls you appointed. Your identity is not shaped by the woman who passed you. Your identity is shaped by the God who chose you. Rejection is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It's evidence that something is being revealed in you. Reframing requires these shifts. The old, I'm behind. New, I'm in preparation. The old, women don't want me. The new, the right woman will respond to covenant strength. The old, my time is slipping away. The new, God restores years and accelerates seasons. The old, rejection disqualifies me. The new, rejection refines me. Reframe the story. Reframe the meaning. Reframe your worth and reframe your future. Phase 3, reconnect. Hope returns through motion. Confidence returns through initiation. Confidence returns through practice. Desire returns through direction. Men don't heal rejection by waiting. They heal rejection by reconnecting pursuit with clarity, not desperation, not performance, not proving yourselves, not forcing outcomes, but movement. Here's how godly men reconnect with calling. 1, re-engage masculine pursuit with micro action. 2, practice social courage. 3, initiate conversations instead of avoiding them. 4, build emotional resilience through calibrated exposure. 5, Allow God to show you where favor is and where it isn't. 6. Build self-respect through consistent discipline. 7. Chase vision, not validation. Your healing is not in being chosen. Your healing is in choosing again with strength. Jesus restored Peter by asking one question 3 times. Do you love me? Not, do women approve of you? Not, do people validate you? Not, do circumstances affirm you? God heals rejection not by giving you acceptance, but by giving you an assignment. You were never designed to anchor your identity in human approval. Your identity has a throne behind it. Maybe this is your story, the story of a kingdom man who began healing when he returned to movement, initiating again, engaging again, trusting again, and how your confidence returned because you reconnected to calling, not because circumstances changed, but because you exposed the lies and believed the truth. Rejection is not a dead end, but if you don't confront it, it becomes a detour that never ends. Let's bring clarity to what the rejection ditch has really cost and what God is calling you to do next. Let's use the PASS framework: problem, agitation, solution. Your problem? You've confused rejection with identity. You've allowed past responses to define your present confidence. You've used avoidance to protect yourself more than courage to lead yourself. Your agitation? Rejection shapes posture. Posture shapes presence. Presence shapes the environment of your future household. Because a man who sees himself as unwanted will shrink in every room, including his own home. Your solution? Reveal the lie. Reframe your identity. Reconnect to calling through purposeful action. Rebuild emotional muscle. Initiate again with wisdom, not fear. Move toward the woman God highlights, not the woman rejection fears. Rejection may have shaped how you see yourself, but it does not get to shape who you become. Being unwanted is not your identity. Being unseen is not your destiny. Being overlooked is not your prophecy. You're being shaped. You're being prepared. You're being strengthened. God has not forgotten you. Women are not done with you. You're not past your prime. You're not out of time. Your future wife is not looking for the man rejection turned you into. She's looking for the man God is restoring you to be. Rise out of the rejection ditch. Reclaim visibility. Reclaim courage. Reclaim pursuit. Reclaim masculine authority. Because you're not invisible. You're not inadequate. You are not unwanted. You are chosen by God before any woman ever responds to you. This is a 5-part series that will help you avoid these 4 most notorious ditches that keep kingdom men single. You landed on the map right here, exposing the rejection ditch. You're finishing part 4. Part 5 will get you out of the quit ditch for good. If you're in the future, you can watch right here for the whole series, the 4 ditches that keep men single. Tune in every week for marriageable insights. I'm Rowena Rodriguez, your marriageability guide, because many are eligible, but few are marriageable. Until next time, be encouraged. You're not single by accident. Your singleness is not happening to you. It's happening for you.